Peace, beautiful souls, and welcome to another video brought to you by Celestial Alignments. My name is Saleh, and I will be your host today on this channel. Now, we are going to be discussing the psychological effects of our childhood. Now, it is common information, common knowledge that children are like sponges, you know what I'm saying? And it's also a value to understand that typically when we come into the physical world, we don't come equipped with self-consciousness or, alright, what would be considered an ego or the ego, you know what I'm saying? Even though, of course, there is a sense of individuality there, but what I'm trying to hint at is the fact that when a child incarnates into this physical world, they are operating primarily from their subconscious minds, you know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to the word subconscious, sub just means below, and conscious, right, is awareness, recognition, and things like that. So everything that's subconscious actually has to deal with the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying? And this fits wonderfully, right, when we understand that, like, everything that happens in the spiritual world is replicated into the physical world. So the things that are subconscious or below our awareness are what's important, but at the same time, the things, you know what I'm saying, that deal with our soul and that deal with the spirit world and things like that. And so that's why they're important, because, you know, that's why we're here, to evolve and expand our souls type energy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so a soul, when it incarnates into this physical world as a child, specifically from the ages 1 to 3, you know what I'm saying? It's like 1, 2, and 3, because we're gonna integrate the chakras as well, because the chakras are really nothing more but different minds, you know. And the way that I like to explain it, but like to explain it, is I explain that when it comes to the chakras, each chakra is like a disc, you know what I'm saying? And because the word chakra is Sanskrit for wheel, or the wheel of life. And when you think of a disc, a CD disc, right, you think of a spinning wheel. And so each chakra contains a specific information, you know what I'm saying? It's like each chakra is like a disk drive with certain info. So the root chakra is like our energies that deal with our physical body, you know, and this is also Mars energy. And we know it's Mars energy, whether we look at it from the angle that, you know, the colors correlate, like Mars is a planet, the red planet, you know what I'm saying, and its color is red. The energy of red is Mars in general. The root chakra is red. Through Scorpio, Mars rules the sex organs. The root chakra deals with our, you know, sex organs. Mars is also our animal. I was gonna say bestial natures. You know what I'm saying, or animalistic natures and desires. And these are all things that deal with the root chakra. You know what I'm saying. And so that's like the first step, you know, if we're to look at it from the angles of the chakras. When a child is first born, they are, in a sense, equipped with the necessity to, like, ground themselves into this physical world, you know what I'm saying? Start becoming familiar with certain things, start becoming familiar with their bodies, because mind you, the root chakra's energy deals with the physical body and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? And it also deals with survival. And so these, you know, at this basic perspective of the child, you know, they're most definitely focused on staying alive, you know, making sure that they're fed. I guess, and this is where sleep and there's a lot of, right, sleep and eating energies that go on at this moment, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's like the root chakra. The child is just finding themselves and their environment, you know what I'm saying, grounding themselves, just becoming familiar, like doing things with their physical body, you know what I'm saying, type energy, anchoring in that energy, that root chakra energy. We'll say on a rough graph that from 0 to 1, right, the child is in the root chakra energy, and then from 1 to 2, the child is in that solar plexus energy, you know, where this is the movement energy starts to, because that's what the sacral chakra, I hope I didn't say solar plexus earlier because I meant to say sacral chakra. That's what the sacral chakra is, you know, it's the water element. Like the root chakra is like the earth element, but then the sacral chakra, solar sacral, the sacral chakra, you know what I'm saying, is the water element. This is where movement and motion comes into play, you know what I'm saying. And like physically, you can kind of think of it like, you know what, forget that. I was gonna use some NASA related stuff, but it's all lostness, you know what I'm saying. So like, it's a good analogy, so fuck it, I'll use it since I brought it up anyways. You can kind of think of like the the root chakra as like the core of the earth, you know, it's solid. And then the sacral chakra as the magma, the lava, the bubbling up and everything like that, you know, and then etc, etc. So yeah, you know, like from 1 to 2, the child is in that energy where they're getting more into their sacral chakra, you know. So this can play out either through like them diving deeper into taste and, you know, enjoying themselves a little bit more, you know, because once they have that foundation, which is the root chakra, you know, now they kind of have this free space to dance around and everything like that, you know. And this is where the child starts to enjoy themselves. They get into, I guess you can even say to an extent, more of that creative energy, you know what I'm saying. This is where they may want to play more with toys, etc, you know what I'm saying. And then it's like the root, and then the solar plexus, you know what I'm saying. The solar plexus, like the solar plexus energy is all about independence, right? And testing your boundaries, right? So typically it's like around this age that they're no longer that cute little baby, but they're a toddler now, and they're breaking things and they're testing boundaries, and it's because it's like it's that individual energy, you know what I'm saying. And this is like a rough framework, you know what I'm saying, that it may take certain people, certain souls to take longer in certain things. Other souls, that energy is condensed, you know what I'm saying. I hope that makes sense in regards to the evolution of the child, you know, through the chakras, you know what I'm saying. Essentially, it's a value and important to understand that from many angles, the experiences we had as children, like, laid out the roadmap, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, laid out like the roadmap for how our experiences would be later. Now, when it comes to astrology, it's important that I explain, you know, to you guys what a birth chart is exactly. So it's important that we realize and understand that, first and foremost, when it comes to astrology, the planets aren't in control of your character, of your circumstances, or of your conditions. They never were and they never will be. In the sense, because, okay, later we'll talk about, in actuality, how they do have effects on you. You know what I'm saying? Like how astrology has effects on us as the humans, you know what I'm saying? But in nature in general. But it's more so from the perspective that we as humans react and respond according to the weather, according to, you know, just certain circumstances around us, according to the people around us, etc. Astrology is kind of like another concept, you know, that should be put in that bracket, especially in the bracket of weather, you know what I'm saying? In the sense that when there are certain cycles, we get affected by those planetary alignments. But it's like kind of like weather in the sense that if you learn how to build shelter, you know what I'm saying, like you don't have to deal with being out in the cold while it's raining, you know what I'm saying. So that is really the control like the power and control that the planets have over us really doesn't go further than that. You know, it's kind of just an effect that should be perceived as like spiritual weather. And the better you learn at weather predicting or astrological predicting, the better you become aware of like what you need to have a harmonious transit. You know what I'm saying? Like what you need for like Mercury retrograde is a common discordant, like because when Mercury goes retrograde, it affects our communication and our intellectual energies. Ultimately, the regression of Mercury just deals with a revisiting of something in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like something and this is why if you're paying attention, you notice and you recognize that certain things start to come back. You know what I'm saying? When Mercury retrogrades, if you're really paying attention, you know what I'm saying? If you're really paying attention, you'll keep game and you'll notice that. You know what I'm saying? So when that regression happens, like it can create a lot of discordant energy. But when you equip yourself with knowledge about the planets and about astrology, then you can calculate, you know what I'm saying, like, and understand, for instance, where this astrological event is taking place in your birth chart. You know what I'm saying? Like, my rising sign, my ascendant is 26 degrees Virgo. What that means is 4 degrees of my first house is Virgo, and then 26 degrees of my first house is Libra energy. So although I have that rising Virgo, I have latent, I guess you can even say, Libra qualities in that house. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that the Virgo energy is what comes first. You know what I'm saying? It's what's in the forefront in regards to my first house energy, my personal energies, and how I conduct myself personally, and how I handle my business, my personal business. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is in that Virgo energy, but then there are certain qualities within that Virgo realm that are like Librian, you know what I'm saying? So I do have to take a lot of advantage, like I do have to progress through relationships in my personal life, you know what I'm saying? And it's a deep thing, and I'm not even talking like romantic or anything like that. It's kind of just becoming a diplomat, you know what I'm saying? Becoming very diplomatic and being aware of how to conduct, because when we're talking about Libra, you have to understand Libra's exaltation in Saturn. And Saturn is like the government. It's like business, you know what I'm saying? So it's coming at relationships from that angle. You know what I'm saying? That's a deep thing. But the thing, I guess, the reason why I got sucked into explaining my first house is because when you have like the Libra energy in the first house, because the first house is naturally supposed to be ruled by Aries. When you have the Libra energy in the first house, it's like you go through, like your whole life is just flipped upside down, you know what I'm saying? Because this means like that I have like my 4th house in Capricorn, you know what I'm saying? And even that alone is like all bad. But anyways, speaking of childhood and correlating it with astrology, one of the things you can get into to gain a better awareness and understanding of your childhood is your 4th house. And I would also recommend your 3rd house, but more importantly your 4th house. That's the house of familial energies. That house deals with Cancer energy and in general all domestic affairs, you know what I'm saying? So I would recommend looking into that house. Now, what I was going to get into and what I was going to discuss, you know, originally was, well, I did start talking about progressions, then I did kind of dive deep into what the birth chart is, and I didn't finish that, so I think I should wrap it up and then move forward. So check this out. When it comes to the birth chart, it's like you have certain energies within your being, you know what I'm saying, within your soul. And it's important that you understand that you exist beyond the flesh. Like you existed before conception even happened, before, you know, like your mom and your dad did the do, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's the best way to articulate that. Even before your mom and dad did the do, you existed. You were somewhere. We'll say I don't want to use the term purgatory, but in the spirit, in the astral plane, floating around. You know what I'm saying? And sex in of itself is a deep concept, because when we have, you know, sex, when a woman and a man get together, you know, and their sex organs interact, there's this great excitement that happens that increases the electromagnetic vibration, and it's like, or whatever, however you want to call it, you know what I'm saying. But I'm gonna use the term electromagnetic, because like our nerves are electrical, you know what I'm saying. Your nerves are like, you know, currents, not currents, but they have currents of electricity running through them, you know what I'm saying. And it's like our sex organs, you know what I'm saying, have like the most concentration of nerves. So it's like there's an excitement of nervous energy that happens. But it's like electromagnetic energy, when we are talking about the spiritual realm and we're talking about the astral plane, our vibration and our energy, like this is from my awareness and my understanding, due to the fact that the density of Earth and the velocities that things of the Earth plane are vibrating at, we can't contact things of the astral plane, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, when we go into the astral plane, like, we transcend things like time, you know what I'm saying? Things like gravity, things like the rules and the laws that govern the material world. So it's a completely different world. Like when you are in the dreaming world, you know what I'm saying, when you're asleep, or if you're a deep adapt, rather I should say, meditation, or and you know how to get deep into, you know, your mind, your psyche, then you can go into the spiritual or astral plane is more the right term to use, you know what I'm saying, the astral plane. So ayahuasca, you know, certain drugs kind of do thin that layer between, like, the veil, rather I should say, between the spiritual and the astral plane. I mean the spiritual and the physical plane, you know what I'm saying? But essentially it's like sex, because it also excites you. It creates this vortex sort of energy, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, according to the thoughts and the feelings, because that's what the spiritual world is. It's a world that's literally made out of thoughts and feelings and emotions, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything around you comes from the mental world, I mean the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying? Like everything before it was physical was a thought. It came from a head, someone's head, you know what I'm saying? Every single thing. So there is like the spiritual world, that's like the best way to think of it, you know what I'm saying? The substance there are thought. Like, the substance there, the technical term, because I'm a verbalizer, I like to get technical and practical with this stuff. It's like the substance would be considered astral substance, you know what I'm saying? Astral substance. And that's like what everything is composed and made of. And then the way that things communicate, you know what I'm saying? You know what? Let me not even go that deep, because I don't even need to go that deep, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like going so deep into the waters that I feel like I'm losing myself. You know what I'm saying? I know what that means. It just means I need to hit this pipe, this weed bomb pipe thing real quick. And as I'm hitting it, I'll gather my thoughts. Well, since I can't remember exactly what I was talking about just a second ago, I'll move on to a thought that I feel is probably just as important. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember what I was talking about. Astral vibrations, astral substance, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that electromagnetic energy that sex produces creates a bridge. Like, the spiritual world's velocities and vibrations are way too fast to directly contact the physical world. But the physical world's vibrations and velocities are way too slow to contact the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so there's like a intermediate energy, and that intermediate energy is our electromagnetic ability, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, here you were in the spiritual world floating around, right? And behold, you see a light. And of course, there is a lot to, you know, coming into this world as a spirit, you know what I'm saying? Because like, it has to be your time. Because like, what I'm really building up to is the fact that the stars in astrology, like the stars as I think of them and everything like that, when they make alignments, which they're continuously doing, they're like opening up portals, you know what I'm saying, for certain things to come into this world, whether that's certain events to happen or certain souls to incarnate, you know what I'm saying, or like that's what they're doing, you know what I'm saying. And so you gotta understand it like, for every key there's a specific block, you know what I'm saying, and it's like you as the key can only enter when the stars have aligned in a certain block, you know what I'm saying, like a certain alignment that's synchronized with you, and now you're going through it. It's like access will be denied, and that's a whole deep thing in of itself. But from that starting point, we now understand that the planets are not responsible for your circumstances, your conditions, your environment, your character, none of that. The planets in astrology are just reflections of energies you already had when you were coming into this world. You already had with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's why when you dive into astrology, you know and understand yourself. That's why it is a reliable source. It's a very deep thing. And it's important we distinguish astrology from astronomy, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm an astrologer, right? But even I know that NASA in Hebrew means deception. And even I know that a lot of the stuff that they claim is real is CGI stuff, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that was actually made in a lab, not in a lab. Well, yeah, in a lab, you know, on a computer in a lab, you know what I'm saying? Type energy. So, it's like, the concept of NASA and everything like that, in of itself is like a religion. And I think I already talked about this earlier, you know, about science. I didn't even want to get into that energy right now, because that is a deep thing in of itself. So yeah, now that we got that out the way, I think I'm just gonna finish my wrapping up on explaining how like you as a soul come into this world, and how the union between you, the union of your mother and father, you know, like, and according, and like the thoughts and emotions that they were in, you know what I'm saying, if it was a union, you can say that was dealing with like love, then it's like, it's kind of like this. Let me explain it like this, right? Rather than trying so hard to explain, let me just explain it. It's like if the union was one that was anchored in lust and selfishness and some weird ass energy, then it's like their union will create a vortex, right? Earlier how I was explaining like the excitement that happens in electromagnetic energy. So through sex we like literally tap into the spiritual world, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like if our thoughts, especially like two people, like the emotions and thoughts, especially powerful as a woman and a man, you know what I'm saying? It's like when those two energies, like the feminine and the masculine, which expresses through electro and magnetic energies unify in that way, it's like that union has a color. Like the electromagnetic field or energy that is created has a color, like an attraction about it that deals with the thoughts and emotions that were on the two engaging in that energy. And it's like this is what attracts the certain souls and certain spirits. It's like certain spirits will be attracted to that color, others will not be attracted to that color. If the union was based on some like just material lust, just want to bust the nut, like on some rape shit or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then like it's mostly going to be more Martian energy, more aggressive energy, you know what I'm saying, like more selfish orientated energy. So like the souls that are attracted there are more on that wavelength of energy. And that's a deep thing, that I can't really explain right now. This is a video about the psychological effects of our childhood. But yeah. So really, even the effect, even like the thoughts and feelings that your parents had when they were having sex, and that was when you were conceived. But also, especially more importantly, the thoughts and the emotions that your mother was having while she was carrying you in her womb. That is very important. It's like, because physically you and her are bonded, but spiritually in the astral plane, your two energies are close as well, you know what I'm saying? And in the astral plane,